Okay, we are just about to go into our next guest, and I'm actually feeling it's really interesting. I'm feeling we've got like my clock said I've got about a minute. I'm going to play you a 2 minute something that I really feel inspired to share with you all at the moment, and it may give you a felt sense on the reason, like from my heart and soul, why the Temple of Armella exists, why we are doing this. And yeah, I don't think it needs any introduction. I'm going to play you a 2 minute clip. I hope you enjoy.
That I needed to put myself aside and my own ego and my own fears and my own thoughts around what that would mean. And I needed to honor this collective that are voicing through me. And so that is one of my deepest soul's gifts into the world right now, is to support the Blue Diamond souls, to have their voice be heard, to have their voice be heard further. And through that, I support other women in activating their womb, in starting to follow their own path of their soul. I apprentice beautifully divine, amazing women into finding what is their soul's calling, what is their awakening. I teach them a modality called womb spiral that gives them a tool to then take out into the world that supports not only women connecting more to themselves, but also women that stepping into this experience of birthing high vibrational beings. It is my deepest honor to have the opportunity to express myself and to share a little snippet of who I am with you. How do we support the change that is coming? How do we support the change that we're in? And so who am I? Who is Zapheria Bell? I'm a woman who is showing up for my soul's calling. I am a woman who is stepping into the fear over and over and over again. Every day when I wake up, it's stepping through the fear of what it is to truly be me, of what it is to truly be connected to my soul, this very intense energy that I feel, like this burning, incredible energy that moves through me.
I feel like that possibly gives you a little touch of the inspiration on why we're here, and also just feel like saying at the moment how deeply proud I am of all of these women that are sharing with you today. They are such powerful, incredible change makers in this world, and it is just such a deep, deep, deep honor to be co-creating with them and to be sharing space with them. So I'm very excited to bring on our next guest.
Hi.
Zoe. Hello, darling.
Hello.
Welcome back. So Zoe's going to speak for us about the power of sacred union. Thank you, darling. I'm going to leave you with it.
Oh, wow. I'm feeling actually quite emotional after the Isadora's water transmission and then that video from Zapheria. So thank you so much. Like, I just am so deeply just sitting here in like such deep gratitude for being a part of this temple and this space. And before I go into what I want to talk about, I just want to share, and Isadora, you'll love this if you're watching, but so in the Temple of Armella, when you're going through the training, we have these like guest teachers come on, and we did a call with one of the teachers last week who guided us into tapping more deeply into our own medicine. And part of my journey and my visualization was this image of me at my altar with my hands in this like big golden bowl of water. And I was saying something to the water, but I couldn't hear it in my visualization. I couldn't figure out what it was. And so today I just like, as soon as I looked at my water in the cup, I just started like tearing up and crying. It was something so powerful about that. And I love like the interconnection of this work. And now I'm like, oh, that was what I was saying. That was like part of this journey that we went on. And I just love that, little connection there. And the transmission of the water is such a beautiful like lead way into what I want to share about sacred union. But before I do, I'm going to do something a little vulnerable, which is share a poem with you guys. I wasn't going to share this, but I wrote this the other day about water, about the ocean, the waters that are within us. And it feels really perfect to share this right now. There's part of me that's like, oh, I haven't read it to anyone. So, but I'm going to lean into that and share it with you because I think that, yeah, it's just so fitting and perfect for what was shared. Yeah, by Isadora. So if you are watching and listening, you can keep your eyes open or closed if you want to close and like really receive these words. I'm going to take a sip of my water. All right, so this poem is called She's Too Much. And it is for all the women or anybody out there that has felt or been told like they're too much in their feminine, in their fullness, in the totality of who they are. So, yeah, I'm just going to read it to you. Whew. Okay, she's too much. Inconsistent, ever-changing, too expressive, sensitive, overly emotional, thinks too deeply, crazy, hysterical, reactional, delusional. Calm down. Would you tell the ocean to calm down and not be so expressive? Would you tell the ocean to stop being so dramatic and excessive? Be less. No, because the beauty of the ocean is her ever-changing tides. It's the way she kisses the shore's edge, reflects the sun. It's the undiscovered mystery that's deep inside. It's the way she doesn't censor herself and be less just to make you more comfortable. She doesn't give a single fuck what you think she needs to do to be more acceptable. Get a hold of yourself. You wouldn't tell that to the ocean, so don't demand that of her either, because she holds the ocean inside. These sacred waters are within her. You, my love, hold the ocean inside. You are the dark, the light, the calm before the storm. You are the still waters, crashing waves. You are water in all of its forms. You are a gentle stream and a tsunami and everything in between, and your ability to be and feel it all is one of your greatest gifts begging to be seen. And every time you deny yourself, your emotion, your truth, your tears, you drain your life force a little more, become a little drier, your spark slowly disappears. So let the waters rise to your eyes, let the tides rise and fall, let the waves crash over you, water move through you, let the current take you through it all. And if a stagnant puddle is what they want, then fuck them and let them go, because this water is our life force and I'd rather be too fucking much if it means being in a state of deep overflow. So thank you for hearing my poetry, and yeah, it just felt so fucking perfect to share it with you all. And you know, so much of this work that we do in the womb spiral and in the temple is a deep reconnection to our sacred waters and the sacred feminine, and the intuition that the feminine waters hold, and the magic and the mystery and the power. And like, water is the most powerful thing on this like planet. Like, water is stronger than rock. Water wears away rock. You know what I mean? It's like, it is so incredibly powerful. The feminine is like so powerful. But something that I love about this work, and especially what we do in the temple, is it's not just about working with the feminine. It's not just about working with the water. It's also about initiating and working with the masculine. And that's really what I wanted to talk about in terms of sacred union. Because it is, water holds that like mystery and the magic and the intuition and the wisdom. And when we're tapped into that, we're tapped into our own wisdom, and it can guide us. But like Zapheria always says like, water is like the river, but the masculine is like the banks, the river banks that hold and help direct and and hold the water where it wants to go, right? Because the water holds the wisdom, it holds the intention, the intuition, but the riverbanks, the masculine, holds that. And that actually allows the water to be more potent. You know, if we didn't have riverbanks and the water was just everywhere, we would have very, very different situation. The inability to collect the water and all of those things would be very different. So there is so much power of having this strong masculine that holds and guides the water where it needs to go, where it wants to go. And so I was really surprised when I came into the temple and did this work that there would be such a huge focus on the masculine, but I am so grateful that there was. And, I want to pre-frame too that when I talk about masculine or feminine, it's not about man and woman, though what we associate with men and women is often what we associate with the energies of masculine and feminine. No matter how you identify, we all hold the masculine energy and the feminine energy within us. And so when I came in to do this work and join the temple, like I said, I didn't expect there to be so much intention and focus on my masculine, but I am so, so, so grateful that there was. And so a huge part of the work that we do is around sacred union. And when we talk about sacred union, this is talking about the inner union, the inner marriage between our own masculine and feminine. The relationship that we have with ourselves is the most important one. And I often get people to question, if you were in a relationship with yourself, or if the relationship you had with yourself was between two people, what kind of relationship would that be? And so now I kind of take it a little step further, and it was if there was a relationship between your masculine and your feminine, what sort of relationship would that be? And it's so incredible what can shift and change when, as women or as anybody, we're very deeply connected to our own masculine and feminine energy, and that we're supported in maturing them and bringing them both forth, but bringing them into a really deep, divine, sacred union, not this power struggle, toxic relationship that many of us have internally and externally. And so something I really loved about doing this work in terms of masculine and feminine was I had done a lot of work, so I thought, with my masculine and feminine energy and my sacred union previously, but it was very mental. And in the spiritual community, if you're part of the spiritual community or personal development, or you've dabbled in this sort of archetypal work, it can be really powerful and beneficial, but often it's we start to create this mental understanding of what masculine is and what feminine is, and I'm in my masculine, now I'm doing this, and now I'm in my feminine. And we're adding more masks, and we're adding more shoulds, and we're adding more expectations onto something. And so a huge part of working in the temple is stripping all of that away and coming back to our actual individual unique essence of what my masculine is and feels like, and what my feminine is and feels like. It's coming back to the deep core, visceral embodied experience of who my masculine is and who my feminine is, and bringing them into deep sacred union. So that within my body and within my being, and as I navigate this world, I have this strong masculine, and the masculine to me is just this beautiful, strong presence and holding and consistency and just unshakable to hold my feminine. And since initiating that throughout this journey, it's now the feminine feels fully safe to be seen and to come forth in all of her, whether she's being a drip of water, a stream one day, or a tsunami the next. No matter where she is or what she's doing, there is this beautiful, strong, present masculine holding her. And so this has transformed my life in so many ways, and transformed my relationships. Because when we come into deep, deep sacred union, healthy sacred union within ourselves, we can bring that to our relationships. And other people respond to us differently when we are standing in a very strong, healthy, matured, pure essence of our masculine and feminine, and they're working together. And so I just want to speak a little bit about the impact that this had on my life in so many ways. Because until we did this work, and specifically I worked with initiating my masculine and maturing my masculine, there was like a 16-year-old boy inside me. And so he, or my masculine, I call it a he, you can call it what you want, was not able to show up for me in my life, in my business, in sex, in my relationships, handling money, like all areas of my life. It was like this 16-year-old boy was handling, or hardly was even there, but it was like if I wanted to initiate my masculine, it was not a of age version of this energy. And so yeah, when we did this work, and I really deeply connected to like the purity of my feminine, the purity of my masculine, and like really matured them, both brought them of age and brought them into deeper sacred union, like so many incredible things changed. And I remember the first month that we did this in our training, that was my biggest, financially, that was my biggest month in my business I had up until that point. Because something shifted, and all of a sudden it was like I was really deeply running my business from my womb and from this embodied feminine and the wisdom and the intuition. But when I brought that masculine forth, all of a sudden I was like, I need systems, I need structure, I need this like presence and like holding to like hold me accountable and like keep me moving towards our intended our intention. And so I started implementing all of these beautiful masculine structures, but it wasn't like from a place of force or like overexerting myself or anything like that. It was such a beautiful experience. And I remember like just, it was so easy. It was so easy because so many of us, even if we are engaging with our masculine or feminine, are operating with really unhealthy aspects. And often these have been given to us by society. Like in our society in general, there is definitely commonalities around who the feminine is and what the feminine is supposed to do, and same with the masculine. And so a lot of us are running not only just with outdated programs, but programs that were never ours to begin with. And so when we start to strip that all away and come back to the purity that's within us of these energies and the sacred union, it just becomes so much easier, so much easier. And I was even thinking today of like this whole event is such a beautiful example of that. It's like we could not have this event without the sacred union. We could not have this event go so smoothly and so beautifully and so like professionally with this like ridiculously amazing technology without the masculine. This is the structure, the planning, the presence, the holding, everybody showing up and following through on their commitments. But each of us are also open to the feminine, like yeah, we had intentions for what we were going to share here, and we had this like masculine aspect, but then we also, that created so much safety for the feminine in all of us to show up and flow and share and be vulnerable and take it here and take it there. But the structure of today has held that and allowed that to happen with so much ease and grace. And I was just thinking before how Zapheria has set this up, and this whole event is such a beautiful example of sacred union within just like the online technology or event. And so I really wanted to come on here today and kind of talk about the sacred union and talk about our own relationship to our inner masculine and feminine, and just invite everybody that's watching this now or on the replay to just be curious, just to inquire as to like, what is your relationship to yourself? If you were married to you, if your feminine and masculine were married, where they were in union, what kind of relationship would they be having? Are there any issues? Like, do they need some help resolving certain things? And For me, a really great place to start was taking a look at how the things that I thought or felt about men and the things that I thought and felt about women. And also taking a look in my closest relationships to where I wasn't happy and where I felt my needs weren't being met, and how that was a reflection of my own inner relationship. And so again, I say men and women, this isn't just specific to gender, but this is my own experience with this. Is up until the womb spiral, I thought that this is just one example of how this shifted things for me in my life, but I thought that I was potentially gay. I wasn't really. I was sitting on the fence about my sexuality. And I had so many beliefs about men. And yes, I had previous experiences which contributed. But some of these beliefs were like, they're unreliable. They don't listen. They don't have the potential to hold me and meet me emotionally or spiritually or mentally where I need them to. I thought men were like irresponsible, not great with money. Like all of these beliefs around men or the masculine were honestly just a reflection of my own thoughts about my own masculine, or my relationship to my own masculine. And so I started to take what I was projecting onto men, or the external masculine, and brought that inwards and was like, okay, well, where am I not being reliable? Where am I not showing up for myself? Where don't I listen to me? Where am I not being able to hold myself in my depth? Do I get to a certain point of intensity or bigness or whatever and go, oh, that's too much, you're too much? Where am I not being responsible with my money? Where am I not being like responsible in my business and all of these things? And I was like, oh my God, literally everything that I believe about the masculine, about men, is actually such a reflection of what was happening internally. And so through doing this work and healing the relationship to my masculine, but also healing past experiences with men or the masculine, and maturing my masculine, bringing him of age, then not only did my whole life change and how I felt inside myself change, but my relationship to men changed very much so. And my relationship to women changed as well. And so I noticed that as I started to embody this new version of my masculine, other people around me were able to come more deeply into like their feminine and their vulnerability. And it was so beautiful and so powerful. I'm just reading a comment from Jamie. Rumi heard this and had a moment of clarity around her own sexual orientation. Wow. Amazing. I'd love to know more if she they ever felt like sharing with me. But yeah, this work and going really deep into the sacred union with myself has just changed so much about my relationships, my business, finances, sexuality, how I show up in sex, like so many things. And I'm really grateful to hear that it's resonating for some people as well. And if you have like any questions on this, if you have anything that you want to share, your own experiences, I'd really love to hear them. But yeah, this I also noticed how doing this work within myself has changed my ability as a practitioner so much. And how the more deeply I embody this work and even this sacred union allows me to show up in a much more potent way for my clients. And one of the things I love about the temple and I love about the womb spiral and being a practitioner is that you cannot do this work and not embody it. Like you just can't. And this work, the womb spiral, the temple will call you consistently into deeper alignment, deeper integrity always with this work. in whatever way is in truest alignment for you. And I know in my body that this work has become such a solid foundation for everything I will ever do and ever create. And this sacred union being such a huge part of this work gives us such a solid foundation within ourselves. Because there are so many areas of our life where we're unsatisfied, or we're trying to outsource, or we feel like we're missing something or not getting something from our partners, our friends, or whatever. And sometimes, yes, there are needs that need to be met, but it's so powerful to be like, where am I not doing that for myself, in my own sacred union, in my own inner marriage, my own relationship to myself? And so as I've really cleared up a lot of the projections that I had around the masculine, around the feminine, men, women, sisterhood, all of those things, and come into a deeper, more pure sense of wholeness within myself, I'm bringing this version of myself to my work. I'm bringing this version of myself to my relationships. I'm bringing this version of myself to my clients. And that is how I can be so deeply of service, not just to myself, but to everybody in my life and to this world. Thank you so much, Bridget. Appreciate your comment. Yeah, so the invitation for you is to spend some time maybe journaling about this or sitting with this when you have a moment. One of my favorite practices is to sit in front of the mirror and I pretend like my feminine is in front of me and I'm the masculine, and then I swap roles. And so, I'm like, okay, I open up this beautiful, loving space for harmonious, loving conversation to bring us deeper together and to resolve maybe some unheard issues. And it's just this time to be deeply honest with myself. So I will sit in front of the mirror and I'll pretend like, okay, I'm in my masculine and embody that. And the other thing with this work is you get to experience a deeply visceral experience of what masculine feels like, and feminine is not just a mental thing. So I come into my masculine. I'm like, okay, is there anything that my masculine would like to share with my feminine? And so I, do that. And when I drop into this practice, I'm always so surprised with what comes up. And then we swap roles, and it ends up being this really beautiful conversation where I learn so much about myself and the energy dynamics that are happening. And especially if things are feeling a bit off or weird, especially from self to myself, this is one of my most favorite practices to bring about resolution and deeper connection. And, you can imagine that if we had this in our intimate romantic relationships, things would probably feel a lot safer for both parties. And, but it starts with us. So the invitation today is it starts with you. And I would encourage you to go deeper into this and explore this. And, of course, if you want to be supported on that journey, then we're here to support that as well. So, yeah, that's all of the things that it's just, every topic today, we could literally have a whole 6-hour live stream event, but that feels complete for me. For now, thank you.
It's so true. We could literally do an entire day on each topic. It is totally true. And maybe one day we will do an entire day on each topic. Who knows? I'm having a lot of fun, so we'll keep on doing this. And thank you so much, everybody, for all of your comments. It's really, really supportive for us and for the women who are presenting for you to feel you and to know that you're there and to receive your comments. So for everybody who is taking a moment to comment, thank you so much for that. We really gratefully appreciate it. So thank you so much for your wisdom, Zoe. I really enjoyed that. And that poem, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I could see and feel that it was vulnerable for you to
so nervous.
Yeah, I could feel it in you. And it was really powerful and just It was so beautiful. So thank you very
Thank
much
you.
for sharing that
Appreciate
with
it.
us.
Thank you.
Thank you, darling.